A new era being ushered in at one of Indiana's most historic sites, inside the transformation of the State Fairgrounds into a 365-day event destination space and what it means to the central Indiana economy. Plus,
this 26-ton truck is hitting the road to fight lung cancer. It's a big first in Indiana. We'll tell you about it in the Business of Health.
And
there's Tiger, Jerry Garcia's guitar.
A rarely seen up-close look at Colts owner Jim Irsay's multi-million-dollar collection of guitars.
This is actually 3 separate acquisitions.
And other pop culture artifacts. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gerry Dick. Presented by Elevate Ventures and Indiana University.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Mary Rachel Redmond in for Gerry Dick. Well, the Indiana State Fairgrounds, known primarily as the place where for more than 130 years, Hoosiers have gathered to celebrate all things Indiana every August at the State Fair, but it's become much more than that.
The Indiana State Fair only happens once a year.
Hoosier agriculture, history, music, arts, and of course, ribeye, grilled cheese, and tenderloin sandwiches. But the impact of events at this 250-acre space in Indianapolis goes far beyond just the State Fair. From conventions, consumer shows, and conferences to hosting sporting events from youth club volleyball to college basketball. We visited the State Fairgrounds to learn more about what's fueling its evolution into a 365-day event destination that's paying off big time for Central Indiana. It's not your grandpa's Indiana State Fairgrounds anymore. The Indiana Crown Jewel has evolved from a once-a-year state fair celebration
time in 3 years. Parker fighting Drew Love
into a year-round cash cow and a destination hotspot in central Indiana.
We're hosting on average about 400 events a year. The State Fair is only one of them. So a lot of activity. This is a huge economic driver for the city and the state. This fairgrounds has the equivalency of a direct economic impact of over $330 million.
The fairgrounds now hosting all sorts of sporting events, part of an overall game plan to drive revenue.
So when you talk about business opportunity, we identified a need for an indoor track in this community, in this region. So there's not a lot of portable banked indoor tracks where they come in and come out.
This 200-meter track takes an entire month to build inside here at the Fall Creek Pavilion, just the second portable track of its kind in the country. A major selling point for attracting new business.
We were able to take it out into the nation, into the world. We worked with Indiana Sports Corp on a lot of this, so really making sure we maximize this investment.
She takes the Big Ten title.
And it's already paying off big time. In March alone, the track has hosted the Big Ten Indoor Track and Field Championships and the Division II National Championships, just to name a few.
The Big Ten Championships that we hosted, what an incredible opportunity to be on the national spotlight. Thousands of spectators that came out. The energy in this building was incredible.
2024 World Food Championships.
On top of everything else, for the second straight year, the venue will host the World Food Championships, touted as America's most watched food sport event.
3,000 of the world's greatest chefs coming in and cooking live in front of the public and then sampling for the public, working really hard with them to produce the event in a bigger way. They've added a chili competition this year, so we're expanding it into another facility, expanding an outdoor space for it. So it's not just about bringing business here, but it's keeping business here. We don't want them to come for 1 year. We want them to come for 10 years or 20 years.
The fairgrounds have always scored big time with Hoosier ribeye, pork, and fried food lovers in August during the State Fair. It also serves as one of the main courses on the March Madness menu here in Indiana.
And Stinson now wide open for a three and knocks it.
So the Horizon League Tournament is one of our large events that we host every year. Basketball in Indiana, you can't get much bigger than that, let alone basketball in the Corteva Coliseum, which has a rich history of hosting these marquee events.
Time in 3 years. Parker fighting Drew.
10,000 fans per year. coming through those gates at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, Corteva Coliseum. So we're well over 50,000 people watching the Horizon League in person. The overall impact is really significant, not to mention just community impact. I mean, yes, the economic impact matters, but I think what we're most proud of are these school-aged kids that get to come watch our really high-level championship caliber women compete to punch their ticket to the NCAA.
This month, Indianapolis is home to some of the biggest and maybe even the most postseason games in all of college basketball.
We're looking at 43 NCAA postseason college basketball games here in Indianapolis. And it's really interesting because it's an awesome tour of all the great venues that are here in Indianapolis. So if you think about it, Big Ten men's and women's are going to be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. You have the Horizon League men's and women's championships at the Fairgrounds at Corteva Coliseum. We're going to have the regionals over at Lucas Oil Stadium. So someone's going to be cutting down and making a Final Four. And then to top it all off, we have the WBIT and NIT at historic Hinkle Fieldhouse on Butler's campus.
And next year, Indianapolis will quite literally be the center of the college basketball world, hosting every major men's college hoops championship.
2026, this will only be the second time that the three NCAA Division I, Division II, and Division III national championships will be played in the same city over the same weekend. That's only been done once before that. And to add it on, because this is Indianapolis and we take it a step further, we're also going to be hosting the championships of the NIT, just like we are this year. So in 2026, 4 NCAA championships are going to be awarded here over the same weekend, over the same time. So what an amazing celebration of basketball you're going to have in 2026 across the city and across the state, really, because it's a celebration of really everyone here in the state of Indiana.
Oh, my God, there is something great.
Big time for March Madness. Well, proof in the pudding on Indy's ability to cash in on hosting big events. The NFL reporting the Combine held in Indianapolis last week attracted record numbers of fans who spent more big bucks during the 4-day event. The NFL says more than 30,000 football fans took part in activities at the Combine over 4 days and pumped more than $10 million into the central Indiana economy. Well, up next, the potential domino effect of the president's tariffs in Indiana. What it could mean for thousands of auto workers at the Honda plant in Greensburg when we come back.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
We begin with mixed signals surrounding Honda's operations in Indiana. Honda has not confirmed statements President Trump made this week that the company is planning to build a new car manufacturing plant in the state. However, it looks like Honda is planning to move production of its Civic Hybrid from Mexico to Indiana. Reuters reports the move is in response to President Trump's tariffs on Mexico, which went into effect this week. Greensburg is home to the only auto plant in Indiana. Now to thousands of Hoosier workers losing their jobs, first in Allen County, where Jack Cooper Transport is shutting down its facility in Roanoke County, putting more than 250 out of work. The facility has shipped trucks and vehicles from GM's Fort Wayne assembly plant for decades. In Lafayette, an aluminum manufacturer is planning job cuts at its operations there. Pittsburgh-based Arconic says it's closing its tube mill department at the Lafayette facility. That means more than 160 workers will be laid off. Nashville-based Hard Truth Distilling Co. says it's focusing on telling its unique and local story after this week's tariff announcement. Hard Truth does not export its products to Canada or Mexico, but is available in 27 states. The company grows its own corn and wheat and imports most of its other ingredients from U.S. suppliers.
I think we're already seeing with some of the biggest players, some price movement downwards. So for us, the key is that we have to have a very differentiated product from the big guys. We have a unique story about being grain to glass here in Indiana, that kind of thing. So we've got points of differentiation that really help us.
In South Bend, city leaders are celebrating the halfway point of a $48 million renovation project at Four Winds Field. In addition to hearing play ball at the season opener next month, fans will see a new natural playing field and upgraded seats. The second phase of construction, which includes a new commercial kitchen and rooftop bar, will begin after the season ends. Still ahead, taking the fight against cancer to the streets. 2, 1. Check out Indiana's first mobile lung screening program and how it could save lives. We have the story in this week's Business of Health.
We're ensuring that more Hoosiers today can get screened as a result of this trial.
Life-saving technology on 4 wheels. IU Health rolls out the state's first mobile lung screening program, which will go directly to Hoosiers at risk. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta is here with why this new program is so important in the fight against lung cancer. Kylie?
Thanks, Mary Rachel. Lung cancer is the #1 cause of cancer-related death by far in men and women. However, it's also highly curable if it's caught early. And that mission is now on the move. Elise Tarula lost her husband, Harry, to lung cancer.
Harry Tarula was an amazing human being, and he was joyful and lived every minute he was alive.
Harry's story is a common one. He didn't go to a doctor until his first symptom, usually advanced stage.
That's unfortunately the nightmare that we see all too frequently.
Catching lung cancer early when it can be cured is now on a roll.
2, 1. Yeah!
The 40-foot truck will hit the road in a matter of days, the first ever CT scanner on wheels in the state.
The stories that this vehicle is going to hear, the hugs and the tears and the relief and the scariness, and yet, oh, we caught it early?
IU Health and the IU Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center teamed up for the truck, the first mobile lung screening program in the state.
We studied the map of Indiana, all 92 counties. We did a deep dive.
And the answer was clear. The truck will target Hoosiers who live in rural areas.
They are more likely to get lung cancer. They are more likely to be diagnosed with advanced stage disease. They are less likely to have surgery, and they are more likely to pass away from it. So reducing those barriers is absolutely the key. And bringing a mobile program into their communities is really a major part of that.
The mobile unit is a gift from the Tom and Julie Wood Family Foundation. Tom was a highly successful entrepreneur who owned Tom Wood Automotive Group before he died of lung cancer. His family now helping others.
I can't make this more clear. If you are eligible for lung screening, you will not pay anything out of pocket. If you're on Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act plans, or private insurance, you will not have a copay.
A simple screening that could have changed Elise and Harry's story.
We're all in this together. What can we all do to be healthier? And that, I think, is the most exciting thing about it, is what can we do to be a healthy state?
And Indiana has the 8th highest smoking rate in the U.S. People who have a smoking history should start getting screened every year at age 50. And now more Business of Health news. Hoosier mom and entrepreneur is getting some national airtime on Good Morning America. We've been following Dr. Manasa Mantravadi since she launched Ahimsa in 2020 to get plastic out of mealtime. She's targeting her stainless steel dishware for home use and school cafeterias. The Washington Post also recently featured Ahimsa, and this could be just the appetizer. Mantravadi has 2 national business deals in the works that we can't tell you about quite yet, but stay tuned.
I love that. I have a set for my daughter.
They're
great stuff.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's very cool.
You know, getting back to the mobile lung screening, it's about to hit the streets. Where is it going?
It's going to Blackford County first, which is in northeast Indiana, and then Ohio County, tucked in right there by the Kentucky-Ohio border. And they want people to know this only takes, literally the scan takes 2 to 3 minutes. You don't even have to put on a hospital gown. You can wear your own clothes. It's in and out fast. And they think they could do 2,000 scans this year. That's 2,000 people that are getting scanned that probably wouldn't have.
And making a huge difference. Great story, Kylie. Thank you.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
A group of Trine University students are preparing for a new summer project, improving water access in Ecuador. One community keeps running out of water during a dry season, so Engineers Without Borders is launching a multi-year project to assess the current situation and come up with solutions.
their career paths are going to be working to improve people's lives. They're, in this particular situation, a basic need of life is to have clean, safe water. So that's probably the biggest takeaway.
The students will survey residents and assess the current system. All of that work will go toward studying the feasibility of developing a sustainable new water source. The IU Kelley School of Business has selected a longtime faculty member as its next dean. Patrick Hopkins joined Kelley 30 years ago and is optimistic for future partnerships and opportunities. He currently serves as vice dean on IU Bloomington's campus and tells us he'll work on connecting that campus to IU Indianapolis.
We're really excited to try to better integrate across our two campuses so that, we can meet the challenges that exists in Indiana in higher education. We want to be a key contributor to economic growth and development in certainly in the Indianapolis region, but for all of Indiana.
Between Indianapolis and Bloomington, the Kelley School has nearly 500 faculty members. Hopkins will start his new role later this month. Up next, we take you to few places people get to go.
A lot of folks that are connected to the collection love this one. A yellow cloud. This is the Black Strat, David Gilmour.
Inside Colts owner Jim Irsay's office for a behind-the-scenes look at his incredible collection of music and American pop culture artifacts.
I ain't gonna work on Maggie's farm no more.
That guitar Bob Dylan is jamming on, it's the one he plugged in and went electric all the way back in 1965, marking a milestone and shift in music history. It's now part of the Jim Irsay collection, the Indianapolis Colts owner's multi-million-dollar compilation of rock and roll, American history, and pop culture artifacts. Here now, a rare first-hand look at many items in the collection, which sit inside Irsay's office.
And when I touch you, I feel happy inside.
There's the Beatles drum kit that Ringo used, his kit number one, a little over $2 million when it was purchased many years ago. And then separate from that, a separate acquisition was just the drum head from the Ed Sullivan Show. Mr. Irsay's passion for collecting started in his childhood, really, with cards and that sort of thing. But in earnest, the collection as we know it today, really 2001, when he acquired Jack Kerouac's On the Road Scroll.
It was like, wow, this is something really special when I physically saw it.
Sort of the foundational piece for the Beat generation.
It was really determined this was the holy grail of the Beats.
And from there, over time, he really was known for collecting guitars. There's over 200, I think we're up to 227 guitars now. The last paper edition of Guitar Magazine called it the greatest guitars in the world. Prince guitar over there, a yellow cloud. This is actually Kurt Cobain's Smells Like Teen Spirit. He really shifted, kind of a seismic shift in how people thought about music, dress, live their lives. That's the most expensive at $4.868 million. Kurt Cobain's 1969 Fender Mustang.
Up on Bluebird Hill.
There's Tiger, Jerry Garcia's guitar. He actually played that as final concert in Chicago at Soldier Field. And the things about the collection I love most is when we can find that triangulation, that triumvirate of iconic artifact, iconic person connected to it in a moment in time. Right now, it's Oscar season. The film, A Complete Unknown, is up for 8 Oscars. The guitar that's referring to is in this room right now. Bob Dylan. Famously, Dylan Goes Electric. He's the poet laureate of a generation. Mr. Irsay and I both consider that to be the most historically significant guitar in the collection. That's one of one. It's priceless. You can't get another one. That's the one that was on stage with Bob Dylan when he went electric, plugged in, and half the people cheered and half the people booed. The Black Strat, David Gilmour, is one of the most famous in the world. The challenge is, heaven forbid, an earthquake swallows it up. You can't get another one. That's the one and only Black Strat used for a couple of decades by one of the greatest guitarists ever.
And we opened the bidding at $260,000.
That was a fantastic acquisition back in 2019 at Christie's, just a packed room.
$1 million.
And so many people were so excited about it. It came from around the world. And I'm on the phone with Mr. Irsay, bidding $100,000 a bid.
2.5.
I remember the auctioneer was Gemma Sudlow, and she's British and has, quite the accent.
$3 million.
She's looking down at me, and I'm on the phone with Mr. Irsay, and I said, I think we got it, brother. The other guy, is capping out. And she looks down and she says, for $3.3 million here, Christie's, this is your moment.
This is your moment. So.
And I jumped in the air. And even though I live that, I look at the video and I think, was that really me? Did that even really happen? The word surreal comes to mind when it comes to that particular acquisition. This was 3.3 million hammer, really 4.1 with taxes and fees. Now it appraises for about $4.5 million.
Let's go rock and roll on 3, 1, 2, 3, go!
In the end, there's so much history that goes into Mr. Irsay's thinking, both in the guitar space. Really, I like to define it in 3 kind of separate categories. It encompasses most of them: rock and roll, American history, and pop culture.
The collection is about telling history. Our history is so important. It teaches us where we've been, the great things we did, but also some of the things that we screwed up that we can change going forward.
Jim Irsay can rock. Well, part of the Jim Irsay collection also includes iconic items from big moments in sports, ones that have a specific cultural significance.
Ali's got the round every round, scoring heavily.
Things like Muhammad Ali's shoes from the Thrilla in Manila. The first time he came out with a name change to Muhammad Ali. That robe is in the collection.
Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An amazing performance. He hits the finish.
Secretariat saddle. There's a ton of things in all 3 categories, and many of them I don't think everybody really knows about.
We're dropping our podcast with Larry Hall and the Jim Irsay Collection Monday. Check it out on InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business, leaving you this week with warm thoughts as thousands of Hoosiers head south for spring break. Go out and make it a great week.